In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear brake flex hose on this Chevy Silverado. This is part of your brake system located behind your rear wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Safely raise and support the rear of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. After completing that, we're going to remove the center cover. Use a 22mm on each of these areas. With that out of the way, let's continue on to removing all 6 of our 22mm lug nuts, and we can remove the wheel. With the wheel out of the way, we have a clear view of our brakes, our brake caliper, and looking along the backside here, we can see the flex hose that we're replacing. Before we start dislodging the flex hose, it's always a good idea to make sure that the bleeder screw on the backside of the caliper does open without breaking. If it breaks, you need to go ahead and replace the caliper. It's good to know ahead of time. Now, of course, for this, it will have brake fluid in this area. We want to make sure we collect all that fluid as necessary. So for me, I'm just using a small collection receptacle here. You can just use a pan on the ground if you wanted. Commonly on your bleeder screw, you may find that you have a small bleeder screw cover. You can go ahead and remove that. A quick inspection, you do want to reuse that. Now that we have that off of there, I'm going to be using a 10mm so we can start turning this bleeder screw counterclockwise. It's common for these to be stuck in place. If that's the case, you just want to use some penetrant and work it back and forth. Okay, you can see a steady trickle of fluid making its way out of there. Now I'm just going to put my collection receptacle on this. Now continuing on, a tech tip for this would be to make your way up inside the passenger compartment, and you're going to press the brake pedal all the way to the floor and hold it there with something such as a pry bar up against the seat, holding that pedal down. That's going to force the fluid all the way into our collection receptacle here, and then we'll close our bleeder screw. Okay. Now we have our pedal held all the way to the floor. We're going to make our way back to that bleeder screw, and we're only going to snug this. We will have to reopen it to bleed the brakes. Now we can continue on to starting to remove the flex hose. I'm going to start on the rearward side where it connects to our brake line. I'm using a 3/8 wrench here. Go ahead and turn this counterclockwise. You can use penetrant, of course, if necessary. Now since you have the brake pedal all the way down to the floor, you should not have very much fluid coming out of here, but you typically will have some. And that's typically the fluid that's stuck in the flex hose itself and not the lines. Now once you have that off of there, you want to quickly inspect the line and the fitting itself, confirming it is reusable. This one looks good. Moving along, we can start dislodging the flex hose bracket from its mounting point down here. It's common for this bolt to break. If that's the case, you'd want to, of course, go ahead and drill it out and then tap it, install a brand new bolt. Typically, this will be a 13. I'm using a 10mm on my application. Let's follow the flex hose all the way up to where it connects onto the caliper. We'll just hang the flex hose down along this way, so in case any fluid does make its way out, it's going into our collection receptacle. We're using an 11mm for our banjo bolt, which is what holds the flex hose to the caliper. Okay, we do have some fluid coming out of there. There's our banjo bolt. A quick inspection will set that aside. And there's the flex hose. With that out of place, we need to have a close inspection of the caliper right at the port where that banjo bolt and flex hose was, confirming there's no pre-existing gasket or miscellaneous debris. I'm just going to use a small screwdriver for this. You can also use a small pick if necessary. You definitely need to confirm that there is no gasket in this area. We'll also confirm that there's no debris. I can see a small piece right along here. And push that right up and out of there. Quick wipe. Close inspection. That looks good. Okay, friend, let's prepare to install our brand new flex hose. We're going to start at the area with the line and the bracket. For this, let's go ahead and take that line and we're going to start it into our flex hose. You want to make sure you're doing this by hand. Now, obviously, we're going to have to tighten this, but first, let's go ahead and reattach the bracket. For the bracket, we'll just go ahead and get this in position. Align the mounting bolt port, start in your mounting bolt, and we'll snug this up. Now that we have the bracket tight, we're going to continue on with this fitting. I'm just going to bottom it out, try to take it a tiny bit further. Double check, make sure everything's secure here. We'll move along to bringing this to the caliper. To attach the flex hose to the caliper, we're going to take that banjo bolt after cleaning it and making sure that there's definitely no pre-existing gasket. Take one of your brand new gaskets and we're going to slide it all the way down to the base there. Continue on by taking that banjo bolt and we're going to slide it through the flex hose. Install our other brand new gasket on the other side of the line. Now there's one on each side of the line. Now we can take that line and we're going to bring it into place. We'll align this with the caliper, start it in by hand. Okay, right there is bottomed out. We're going to take this a tiny bit further. Go ahead and take hold of that flex hose. Make sure it's secure, it should not pivot around. We want to make sure we have those gaskets squished a tiny bit, holding that flex hose in place. Now that we have the flex hose installed, we're going to make our way up under the hood and we're going to open our master cylinder cap. We'll just rest that right along the top. Continue on back in this area. At this point, the flex hose is installed, but we need to bleed the system. We're going to do this by doing a gravity bleed. We'll have a collection receptacle under this area to catch our fluid, and we're going to open this up. We'll be paying attention along the very tip of the bleeder screw. Commonly, at first, you're going to see some air bubbles and some fluid making its way out. We need to continue this until we only see fluid making its way out and no air. You can see quite a bit of fluid making its way out of here with some air bubbles. All right. At this point, we have no air coming out of the system, so we can close this off. The next thing we need to do is make our way into the passenger compartment and pump up the brake pedal till it's nice and firm. If it doesn't feel firm, there could still be air trapped inside of the hose or the braking system. If that's the case, you need to continue on with a manual brake bleed. Assuming it does feel good, go ahead and clean your mess and reinstall your bleeder screw cover. Now we can reinstall our wheel. We'll get this up in place. Once it's on there, go ahead and start on all 6 of your 22mm lug nuts. We'll bottom them out, get the wheels safely back down on the ground and torque them to 140 foot-pounds. We've got the wheel back on the ground. We'll be torquing these in a crisscross manner. Torqued. Now, if you have a center cover, go ahead and install that now. When installing it, you never want to use an impact tool on those plastic lugs. Now we're back under the hood, and we're going to top off that fluid up to our maximum. That looks good. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. The next thing you need to do is make your way into the passenger compartment. Go ahead and pump up that brake pedal, confirming it's nice and firm. After that, take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching. Okay, friend, let's get started on our job. To be able to bleed the brakes, we want to make sure we have some brand new .3 brake fluid and, of course, some parts cleaner. Under the hood, we're looking for the master cylinder. We're going to remove the cap here. Before we remove it, you want to make sure you remove any miscellaneous debris from in this area so nothing falls inside of the braking system. We don't want to contaminate that fluid. Go ahead and take hold of the cap. We're going to turn it counterclockwise, lift it up and away from the port so nothing falls inside. A quick inspection of that cap. Continuing on, we're going to remove as much of the brake fluid as possible. I have a clean extraction device here. Let's put that right inside the master cylinder. Look at how dirty that fluid is. We'll make sure we recycle all this fluid properly. Once you've removed as much fluid as possible, we're going to add our brand new .3 brake fluid up to our maximum line. Now that we have that topped off, we're just going to take that cap, we'll put it in position. Now that we've done that, we're going to make our way into the passenger side rear wheel well. This is where we're going to start our brake bleed procedure. Along the back side of the caliper is where you're going to find your bleeder screw. If there's a bleeder screw cover, go ahead and remove that. For this bleeder screw on the rear, we're going to be using a 10mm. Now to bleed this, once you have that open, it's going to be easiest if you have a second person. They're going to be inside the passenger compartment pumping up the brake pedal. Once they're holding it, we're going to open up the bleeder screw and watch for air and dirty fluid making its way out. Repeat this process several times until it's only clean, new brake fluid making its way out of this bleeder screw, and we'll close it off, clean our mess, and then make our way over to the other side of the vehicle and repeat the exact same process. Let's get that bleeder screw cover off of there. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal, please. Go ahead and pump. You can release, thank you. Just make sure we close this off. Now at this point, we have no air coming from the passenger side rear caliper. We're going to go over to the driver's side and repeat this exact same process once we've cleaned our mess and reinstalled our bleeder screw cover. After that, just go ahead and make your way up to the master cylinder and top it off. Now we're back under the hood. Go ahead and open that up. Top it off again, right up to that maximum. Perfect. Reinstall that cap. Now we finished topping off the master cylinder. We're over at the passenger side front. We've got our collection receptacle under here. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal, please. Go ahead and pump. This is looking good. Go ahead and pump. That's perfect. You can release the brake pedal. Thank you. Clean up our mess on this caliper here, reinstall our bleeder screw cover, repeat this process on the driver's side, and then move up to the master cylinder. Now that we finished bleeding all the brakes, we're back up under the hood one last time here. Go ahead and remove the cap, and we're going to top off that fluid up to our maximum. That looks good. Okay, friend, we finished our brake bleed. The last thing you want to do is just make sure you've cleaned up all your mess, double check for leaks, reinstall the wheels, torque those to 140 foot-pounds, close the hood, take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.